Does he have his paperwork all that right, or do we have to swear that?
No, yeah, square that away. That's your job. You're just
Does he have the wrong box check? Does he
I
have the wrong
know
box?
you gifted him. That's Mr.
Mr. Who?
Mr. Mark John. Yeah. I'll check it.
Not in mine.
So it takes 15, 20 seconds.
Dog, we go home. Okay.
Busy signal.
I think the town needs to pay something next time. It's free,
Oh, but that's just the name, but you still pay for it.
Captain Como.
which is about 472 567.
Everybody might be down with it.
You start reimbursing, and we'll do paperwork before we're done with that.
I'm mad.
Your fingers are doing the walking, huh?
Everybody's down. Like what? Who gets through?
Never mind, everybody need to keep people over on this thing.
That's a tough ground. I'm out of here. I'm out.
Oh, we lost our cool on the go.
Could be everybody's down. It's the number right now.
Vindicated, thank you. Thank you. Apologies for this sag over here in front of my desk.
I'm sorry, that number is not in service.
Just like with most conference call firms, they have one, main number you call into, so everybody's calling into the same. Or calling it, is that the 715? But a lot of people use the conference call across the country, and for all kinds of, support. What the county's using, other things, but it's all the same number.
Yeah, I just had 7:15, he just called, said that he can't get through. I said, they should be on by now, that's why I've come down. He's all nervous. He's all nervous, he said, I said, don't worry.
Right, so he's having trouble calling
Yeah,
for the
he
same
is,
general
'cause
number.
yeah,
We just call him.
I just got upstairs and the phone was ringing, so.
Yeah, actually, do you have his number?
We just
Yeah,
call
I
him.
do have his phone number.
Do you have it now? If this doesn't go through,
We just call him directly.
yeah, we can do that.
His application over
Oh,
there.
there, it should be right on
Yep.
one you got.
What's it?
Well, what phone number do you
Ready
have?
for it?
Yeah, I'm ready when you are.
518-203-9745.
Yep, that's his phone number.
Hopefully he'll, I don't know if it shows this is Tom Cook Park or what it shows on, but hopefully he'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Either that or he got in and is waiting on the other line.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Dar?
Yeah, this is me.
This is the town of Clifton Park Board of Assessment Review. We called you directly because we couldn't get through on the conference call system that we had set up. So-
Oh, yeah, I was,
And we heard you had trouble.
Oh.
Yes.
yeah, I was definitely to the conference call.
Yeah, we couldn't get in either, so we decided to call you directly.
Oh, okay, thank you so much for doing that.
You're welcome, sir, anytime. I'm gonna turn you over to our chairman of the committee, and he's gonna swear you in.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. Dar, I'm Dan King, I'm your chairman, and I just have to swear you in, and then we'll proceed with the proceedings. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
Yes, I swear.
Okay, fine. Can you tell us a little bit about your house?
Let's go over the paper.
Oh, one-
My house,
Wait one
Yeah.
second, we have a problem. I'm gonna give you to Todd, we gotta make a correction on your paperwork here, so we don't have to, reject it. Hold on a second.
Mr. Jarrett, we just want to go through the paperwork real quick. It looks like you are saying the value of your property according to, you say the full market value of your property is $325,000. Is that true?
yes, according to the appraisals and trade price, that's why I said
And
that.
if we do the math,
I'm sorry.
okay, and if we do the math on that, that works out to what, do you believe the assessment should be $165,750? You agree
I
with
don't
that?
know the calculation, I don't remember the calculation, but the full market value is, what I think is 325, and I think Clifton Park Town has a number they apply
Yep.
to get it down to an assessment.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sorry, I don't remember that number.
That's okay. That's the number you have written down here. You wrote that down. Okay. So, but 325,000 is your full market value that you're saying, right, Mr. Gar?
Yes, that's the full market value.
Okay. And then the 450,980, that's the town's full market value.
That's on the tentative assessment roll.
Okay. But your assessment according to the town is, okay. So your assessment according to the town is 230,000.
Yes, I think that's the assessment number, and their full market value is 450,980.
Okay. So we agree with those numbers. Now, there's a couple different boxes. You have grounds for complaint is on the form. And there are a couple different grounds for complaint that you can make. One is called unequal assessment, and one is called excessive assessment. For excessive assessment to be true, the assessed value has to exceed the full value. Do you think that the assessed value, 230,000, as you said it was, exceeds the full value, 325,000?
No, 230 would be less than 325.
Great, good answer. So I don't think you want excessive. I think you want to check the box for unequal.
Okay, sorry,
No, that's okay. I just
I'm
can't
not
fill out the
a
form for you,
lawyer.
so I want to make sure you understand and you're telling me how you want the form to be filled out.
yes, sorry, yeah,
You want unequal?
yeah, unequal would be where I'm saying the full market is, higher than what I think the full market is.
Yes. Yes, what you want is unequal.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, I would do the unequal then,
Okay,
and I'm sorry for the trouble.
no worries.
No problem.
Sorry. Back to you, Dan.
Okay, we just wanted to get that straight, so there's no problem with the form at all.
Thank you so much for, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm sorry.
If you could tell us a little bit about your house, the purchase, when you purchased it, how you purchased it, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, my spouse and I, we purchased a house in April 2017. When we looked at a couple of houses online, we found a realtor. We looked at this one. There were some issues with it, but the list price was under our budget price. The list price at that time was $335, and then owner agreed to sell it to us at $312. And the house has 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. I'm sorry, are you trying to ask me something?
No, listen here. I'll ask you, what was the condition, what was the reason that the owner went down so far on the price? Do you have any idea?
Because they were, first of all, he started, I think, very high, like 350 or something, and he kept decreasing it. He didn't find a buyer. And there were issues with house that, I'll give an example. We couldn't even get our cars into the garage because the driveway, when you get into the house, the driveway was, what's the word? It was all down where it reached the garage. Like there was a big, not a hole, like the whole thing was down. And then similarly, there was a lot of dry rot. It is in one of the documents I also attached. I can't remember which page number. It's an inspection report kind of thing. And it's also mentioning there's a lot of dry rot in the house. The HVAC unit was really old. It barely passed the CO detector test. So there were these kind of issues. And there was no renovation that was done, you know. The floors were still wood floors, but very old. The finish was off. It's still off. And compared to our houses, there were other houses on the street. So there is 5 Birchill Court. That sold for $350 around the same time. Those people moved in, I think, one same day as us. And that house had 15% more living space and an extra garage. And so there were other houses that were selling for $350 that were in better condition or you know, more space. And I also think that that owner has listed it at a very high price. If he overpaid for it when he bought it, I don't think he paid the right price for it either.
Okay. And, so have you done any renovations to it, or
We obviously had to get the driveway redone, you know, otherwise our car wouldn't have gotten in the garage. So that cost us $3,000 for that, and we replaced one door last year. That was, I think, about $2,000. That door was or somewhere between $2,000 to $3,000. That door was so old. Well, not only it was rotted from underneath and everything. Luckily, there were no termites, but there were wasps and bees coming from that back door into our living area. So we had to replace that door. And then the siding on the deck was also all rotted. And so we had to replace that with vinyl siding. And it was, I wouldn't even call it renovation, it was more like to maintain the house, you know. Like we didn't renovate the kitchen or floors or anything.
okay. All right. Anybody have any questions? I'd like to have our town assessor tell you how they evaluated the house, and we'll go from there. If you would, Walt?
Okay.
Yes, I spoke to Mr. Dar a couple of weeks ago, tried to come to some conclusion or a settlement. The sale price, I really couldn't really explain or understand why the 312 number came up, and whether it was actually a good value for this house or not. The previous sale of the house was 375 back in 08, which I believe at the time was the height of the market. So that might account for some of that overprice or that high price of 375. But Mr. Dar and myself, we looked at sales right on Birchill Court. He's right, 5 Birchill sold for 352, 8 Birchill sold for 370. 8 Birchill had a remodeled kitchen. So you have sale prices on one street that go from 312 to 370. Houses are almost the same size. So what was the difference? I couldn't figure out, and so we couldn't come to an agreement, so that's why he's at the board of review.
Okay. Good enough. Well, have you anything to add, Mr. Dar?
Yes, I would like to say a few things about that. So, first of all, he's right. The house price goes from 312 to 370. 8 Birchill sold for 370. 5 Birchill sold for something 350. 6 Birchill sold for 355. 8 Birchill Court has a newly renovated kitchen, granite countertops, new tile floors. If I were to add those features in my house, it would probably cost me somewhere between $20,000 to $30,000. He's right that the houses are roughly the same size except for 5 Birchill Court, that's bigger. And also 6 Birchill Court has an extension. They have one extra sunroom. I don't know what the size of that room is, but that's an extension to the original house. 8 Birchill Court is similar in size to my house, but like we both discussed, that it has a renovated kitchen, granite countertops, tile floors, and those things are going to cost somewhere between $20,000 to $30,000. And even if the houses are on same street, built by the same builder 30 years ago, those features are going to be priced into the sale price of the house. And so this is why I don't think my house should be close to the value of 8 Berkeley Court, because it has, I would call an investment done on it that's not in my house. And similarly, 5 Berkeley Court has an extra sunroom. If I add an extra sunroom, then yes, you should increase my assessment. That would be fair. But I don't have that.
Mr. Gar, do you feel that if you modernized your kitchen and put that sunroom and made some of the same improvements that have been done to 5 and 8 Birchwood, that your house would be worth $350,000 or $370,000 in true value?
I think if I do the upgrades that I just mentioned, renovate my kitchen and tile floor, and then add a sunroom, then it should sell for $370,000 at least if I do those upgrades.
Well, see, one of the things that as a board we look at is we can't take, if you buy a house that's in poor condition and you have a decent sale price like you just apparently have had, condition of the property isn't one of the factors we look at in terms of assessed market value. Because again, you could be simple, if you go down to 312 and you put a new deck on, you put a new solar room, you put a new kitchen on there, the house is going to be worth, say, $380,000, about where it's assessed currently. And then we can't ever raise it again. I don't know if you follow the thought here is that, I mean, the reason why your house was so inexpensive was because because the house was in poor condition. But if you make these improvements to the property, then your house will be clearly worth what it's currently assessed for.
Can I say something to that?
Sure.
I don't want to be disrespectful here, but I think the condition is also, so I looked at the manual for the Board of Assessment Review. And in that one, it's mentioned two or three times that the property should be assessed according to its condition. On page 1-4, for unit 1 less than 2, it is stated that assessors should assess according to condition and ownership. And then on page 2-2 of the manual, unit 2 less than 1, it is, and I'm quoting that one, real property must be assessed according to its condition and ownership on taxable status date. And I think if you look at the market value, the sale price is reflecting those condition and upgrades. So I'm not saying that 312 is the value. I'm saying 325 because the appraisers also evaluated at that, so they didn't think it's comparable to the other houses of the street because of the conditions and these things. So this is why I'm saying that the condition is important, because I read the manual and it's saying that it should be assessed according to the condition.
So Mr. Gar, it does say that, but if the house were in exceptionally good condition, we can't raise an assessment. So although we have to consider the condition, we can only consider the condition downward. So we have to take it very carefully when we consider that condition. If somebody defers maintenance or doesn't do maintenance on a house, that doesn't necessarily lower the intrinsic value of the house. And similarly, if you put in $50,000 to have your kitchen redone and put in granite and floors and appliances and everything else, we can't raise your assessment. Your assessment would never go up. So what we try to hedge against is somebody who buys a house in a poor condition, gets the assessment lowered, then invests money in it to make the value of the house go up, because then your house would be worth $370,000, $400,000, and you're still only going to be paying based on $325,000. So we try to look at the house in its entirety to consider it. But we do appreciate that you did pay $312,000 for the house, and that is a primary condition in determining the value of the house.
I think that the market value is also reflective of the asset assessment of the property. Because I don't know what the law says here, but can we just say that because all houses are similar size and same street, they have to be the same assessed value when the market values are very different here?
Well, it's like saying, suppose you had bought that house for $450,000 and it was in immaculate condition, but you're still being assessed at $370,000. We can't raise it. So at the same time, that's good for you. At the same time, we, as you know, we've talked here, it's important that we also look at houses that are currently undervalued only because of their poor condition. It's something that can be easily remedied through some basic maintenance on your part. So we're looking for that. I mean, you've got a pretty good house, and some improvements we made to that property, you'll easily be able to sell that house for say $350,000, $360,000, $370,000. You know, it's a good deal. I mean, some improvements and make your money back from those improvements.
I break even.
Let's do this. Let us consider, we're gonna review the house, we're gonna review the information you gave us. And we'll be getting back to you probably in June with a letter letting you know our decision. You make a good case and we'll take that into consideration and we'll go from there, okay?
But I'd like to thank you for your time. I know it's tough in these times to gather and do these things over technology. And so thank you very much for giving me a good time and good hearing. And I look forward to hearing from you. And I hope that you consider the sale price of my property and appraised values and condition, all of those in your decision. And I look forward to hearing, getting your letter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Pleasure
Arthur.
talking to you.
Good night.
Good night now.
Good night.